It's time to return to hell. Or a different kind of hell, I guess, after so long. I don't even know. What is time, really, these days?
Time is a meaningless concept. We're all just heading into an abyss. Pet a cat. It'll make you feel better.
What a wonderful world it is. Incidentally, the name of the next act that we're going right into.
Almost like it was planned.
Dumpster, right?
Yeah.
You said you met her at the supermarket.
I did. It was the bin out behind the dime a dozen.
And you just picked her up out of the rubbish and brought her home?
Why no?
Sometimes I think I hardly know you.
I think we've all had relationships like that at some point. Just me? Never mind.
I don't know, if I ever had a relationship in my fucking life, I'd probably be able to better answer that.
What is that?
I don't know.
And chances are I'd probably be the one being dug out of the trash. But oh well. Still the same stuff as always, these little mask fuckers. Trying desperately to be cool and whack them with my torch. But also you get to see the teether in action, which is what you expect. Like, going with the RE4 comparisons, because this game's got a lot of that on, like, the structural level. Like, teether's obviously the TMP, but I at least feel more inclined in this game to use that than the actual TMP in its own game.
Yeah, the teether's probably the best version of the machine gun sub-weapons, for my money at least.
It's also the only, like, one of 3 fucking weapons we have in this game, so when you don't have the wealth of options that RE4 has, you kind of do have to make use of all of them.
Yeah.
But never mind that right now. Story time.
Gather round, our children, and we shall tell thee a tale.
Yep.
The man who never had his fill. It was a cold and snowy eve. Certainly no night for a man without a home to be walking these grey and endless streets. Inside the pizza parlor, George Reed spun a lively tune on his harmonica. The local children giggled and pointed excitedly at the harmonica man as their parents glowed with approval. His reward would be all the pizza he could eat, 6 pies at least, and a warm bed in one of these folks' homes. He knew they were good for it.
Oh, so he ate all the pies.
But when he tucked in for the night, George had not had his fill.
Story of my life.
As the years and calories stacked up, most men would have got older and fatter. Yet for all he consumed, George only got thinner as he washed from town to town. Tapeworm.
Spoilers, Jesus.
Tonight he plied his trade with some grannies and orderlies in a nursing home. Hoo-ah! His harmonica filled the room with joy.
See, when he puts it that way, it does not sound wholesome.
Chops and mashed potatoes.
Nor does that sound even remotely come close to a harmonica.
Plying his trade with some grannies.
Go ahead, Georgie.
Hoo-wee-ha.
You're such a good boy. You shouldn't have to starve.
But George had not had his fill. Early the next morning, he was already on the freeway with his thumb in the air. "Where are you headed?" said the man in the truck. "Nowhere," said George. "Anywhere." It was a new decade, and tonight George played to an all but empty bar in the city. He had lost a lot of weight. Afterwards, the only woman in the joint took the stool next to him and asked him his name. The bartender leaned over the counter. "You don't know this guy, Mary. George is famous, been all over the tri-state area." With a wink, he added, "Man's insatiable." And that night, George proved it as he buried his face in Mary's beaver.
That escalated.
Woodland creatures.
Yeah.
Attaboy, George. Attaboy, George. Play that
I'm pretty sure that when that man said he's insatiable, he probably was not thinking in the sex context and realized he made a horrible mistake.
No, I just meant he can really put away his beer.
The other just wanted
Yeah, he could really eat you out of your house. No, not like that. No. Oh, shit. Fuck.
No, see, when I said I wanted to ruin you, I meant your financial score. Duh.
His meal had been a mistake. It was on a sidewalk one night in a small suburban town that he came across the boy. Hungrily and with an agonized grimace, he opened his mouth to beg for help.
Johnson, that's an electric guitar wailing. You don't know harmonicas for shit.
Understood.
Wait, you mean Jorge ate his harmonica?
Once he was alone, George Reed looked at the candy bar he held in one hand and began to cry. They found George's half-eaten body in a market next town over. In one hand he held a knife, in the other a fork. Chunks of flesh had been torn from his chest and his arms. Blood framed an eerie smile. The wind that morning blew fierce, and as it whistled through the hole he'd carved out of his own neck, the harmonica man played his last song in this world.
So I guess you could say the
There
wind
were
was
gawkers, and
playing
many
the
knew him.
victim.
They shared stories of how he'd filled them with life. They, at least, had had their fill.
This story's over.
Mary.
This LP's over.
The end. No moral. No, actually, there probably is a moral. Don't get the demonic equivalent of tapeworm, because that's clearly what fucking happened to this guy.
And be careful with what you... Be more precise with your words when you're in a bar.
Yeah. But also, this lets you know now why George's, like, his sounds are a harmonica, because it's been lodged in his throat ever since.
That's certainly a story?
Yeah. Admittedly, with all the joking and stuff, it is one of, like, the better, like, parts of this game, I think, is, like, the way they contextualize giving you the backstory. Like, having it be, like, a grim fairy tale-esque kind of storybook, but, like, its own sort of tale and extra layers of fucked up.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the bits where you find out about the B&B core in Metal Gear Solid 4. That
Except not as creepy.
Not about 3 hours long and not painful to hear.
Yeah.
For multiple reasons. I was just like, this is causing me pain.
Ooh, yeah, it does. It only causes more as you get older.
Oh, yeah.
What did she say?
Nothing. Not for weeks. I was afraid to even touch her, you know? Like she didn't belong to me.
'Cause she didn't.
Something changed.
You dug her out of the fucking trash.
She's not a girlfriend, she's garbage.
Uh,
God, imagine if he'd come home with a pumpkin.
Speaking of phones,
Oh my
put that on hold,
goodness.
G. We've got company.
So, here's a mechanic that's never going to get boring.
yeah, just little crawlers. They like to puke darkness.
Yep, not a gameplay mechanic that outstays its welcome.
Nah, not at all.
I remember getting to this point and thinking, okay, well, this isn't going to be too difficult, and then they spring it on you like 5 or 6 times in a row.
Yeah. And never any aspect of it is like truly hard to deal with. It just does become more busy work after a while.
Yeah, and I mean, with the gate in the way, it's not difficult, it's just annoying.
Yeah.
Like, if it was an actual challenge, then that would be one thing, but it's, as you say, it's just busy work.
Mm-hmm. Milking those backhand swings for every opportunity I can.
Yeah, I forget, do they actually do damage, or is it just a defensive measure?
I think it does do some damage, but not enough that it would probably kill. But you at least got to see, like, after that, the little stomp move that I talked about briefly, like, in the last episode, and that I progressively start to do a lot more throughout the LP.
Yeah, it always reminded me of God Hand whenever I did that.
I got up to take the call. Johnson, you should have seen her. She jumped out of her chair, ran to the phone, and ripped it right off the wall.
Whoa.
Then she came and put her arms around me and started crying. It was the craziest, weirdest, sexiest thing I have ever seen. I have been hers ever since.
Garcia is different.
Hey, remember what we said, we don't kink shame here.
I'm kink shaming. If you see a woman crying, obviously traumatized, and you're like, that gives me a boner, I'm kink shaming.
Fair enough. I think I probably would have just gone the extra step and maybe, like, I probably would have opted to go the extra mile of, like, not just, like, keeping her around, but also making sure she got the professional help, because that's so obviously, like, forgotten in these fantasy scenarios.
Yeah, women's obviously suffered some serious trauma. Let's just pretend she's a cat that we found milling around the back of the building. You know, it's no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
What? Demons don't like teeth?
The gun laws here are very strict. Haven't you wondered why they don't shoot back? You and I are violating almost every rule in the book. Heck, I'm practically made of teeth.
If everybody shot back, this would just turn into Resident Evil 6, and nobody wants that.
Oh God, no. Once was bad enough.
Hell, even the late game sections of RE5 were already pushing it. That was like the island from 4, but like doubled.
See, I really enjoyed RE5. Like, I have easily put like 60, 70 hours into it over various platforms. It's probably the one that I've played almost as much as RE4.
Yeah, I probably would have put in that much time, like, if I didn't find it so painful to play solo. Because I don't always have co-op, like, partners for that, you know?
Yeah, I didn't really have so much problems with it because I'm used to playing multiplayer games solo.
Mm-hmm.
But,
When will this fucking torture end?
From hottie to hamburger, just like that.
Dude, read the room.
Johnson, she makes hamburgers. Good ones, I might add. And no, this is not like in a sexual euphemism kind of way. Like, no, you'll see.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember.
Mm-hmm. Yet another mechanic relating to the whole darkness thing. One that I'm like fairly alright with, just because it has less to do with like actively dealing with enemies, like say barfing the darkness on the goat heads.
Yeah, I don't remember it coming up that much later on though.
Yeah, there's.
The game loves its like one-shot mechanics where it's like, okay, here's a thing that's going to stick around for about 30 seconds and then you're never going to see it again.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the mechanics in this are annoying as hell, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Ranging from tolerable to annoying in all ways. Brief moment of getting lost in ship because for whatever reason, I guess the first time I shot like these little seals normally, it did not cause it to open, so I was like, did I miss something?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you hit it using the light shot or if it was just a regular shot.
That was literally like what my thought process was during the recording,
Yeah.
as well as trying to see if there was like some sort of darkness trigger that needed to be done first, but no.
So these guys look like some of the bad guys from Shattered Memories. The sort of the abstract Rorschachs.
Yeah, Rorschachs, the clever pun on that.
Remember when Resident Evil was Silent Hill was fun?
Yeah. Remember when Silent Hill was even alive?
Well, there is talk of bringing it back, but
Yeah, I might as well just like say they kind of call out like this is part of the exact reason why no one should like put that much stock like in leaks, because for every one that you get that is based out of like, I'm gonna say very like plausible guesswork, there are some that are just clear fucking fanboy wish fulfillment. Stuff. And like the whole Silent Hill, like the idea of Sony just like buying like the IP along with Metal Gear and Castlevania, by the way, is like
Yeah, that's...
It feels especially greedy when you consider the fact that, like, people have already tended to forget that that Konami has had other IPs besides those three. They have their entire rhythm game division. They have Goemon. They fucking own Bomberman, which was originally Hudson's, but that's come under them anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't they currently own the IP to Bomberman? And, you know, like, shit like Gradius.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that
also,
would be like...
Zone of the Enders, because,
Yeah.
like, there's already a sizable amount of people that still want that. So it's like, those three specifically does feel like a lot of greed that would be, like, based more on, like, what's in, like, the current public consciousness.
And besides which, yeah, they might not make games anymore, but they know for a goddamn fact what their properties are worth. They would not let them go for any kind of reasonable sum.
They would not have let, like, someone make a decent animated series out of Castlevania for 3 seasons.
4. It's been renewed.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of expected as much.
Yeah, like I said, they may not be interested in making games anymore, but they know exactly what their games are worth.
Yeah.
It's just that, you know, they're much happier licensing properties out for anything that'll stand still long enough than doing anything with them meaningful.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely those 3 going to Sony. It's like, okay, and do you want a pony?
Let's take a closer
You know, since we're going for radical wish fulfillment here.
Yeah, like, I mean, for fuck's sake, if I want to, like, get super deep, I would be all down for someone just taking the Goemon license and doing a new Mystical Ninja.
Yeah, especially if it's one of the classic Metroidvania style ones.
Yeah, or even just because I have specific nostalgia, I wouldn't mind another 3D platformer adventure like the N64 game.
Never got to play that, but I loved the hell out of Mystical Ninja on the SNES back in the day.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. Anyway, back to the game. Here's our merchant.
Cam Clark.
Yeah.
Named Fleming stole my
I definitely got a kick out of being reminded, oh yeah, Cam Clark totally was in this game.
Yep.
And the reason I could tell is because he's hamming it up in a lot of the similar ways that he hammed it up as Andre Almeida in Killer 7.
Yep. It's actually a lot more cheerful.
Yeah, more cheerful, like, not really any, like, almost no kind of sinister undertones. He's just happy to help you, like, help with, like, selling shit in exchange for jewels.
He's just a good old boy, I tell you what.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he's charming enough to win Garcia over, so
Yeah.
that's got to be something.
Just remember that if you ever do have the privilege of making business with someone as hospitable as Christopher, hope you're okay with sticking your arm down a person or down another person's throat, because yeah, that's the only payment he accepts.
Frankly, I'm waiting for the opportunity. I've said too much. I'd better go. Nom, nom, nom.
I'm pretty sure that by the end of this, or at the very least when we get to Act 4-1, we will have already said way, way too much about ourselves.
Yeah, at some point it's just going to be like, so, do you want to incriminate yourself first, or...
Whole world's going to hell, man. I'm already, like, gonna be, like, at the front of the line anyway.
Yeah, at this point it's like, who cares?
What's this? Sushi with a dick?
These guys may look ugly, but they're actually...
That reminds me of a video I saw from Japan. Never mind.
I kept one as a pet.
God
Did they
damn
with
it.
the light?
Speaking of which...
Yeah, sushi lamps. One of the other light darkness related mechanics that I will say is on the tolerable end.
Yeah,
Mainly because of what you're seeing right now with these little husks getting scared.
Yeah, it's basically an auto-scroller, but not a terrible one.
And potentially optional to a degree. I mean, you still kind of have to wait for the sushi lamp to get to its destination, because like script triggers are tied to it. But you don't have to, like, if you're feeling bold, you don't have to stand exactly behind it at all times. You could just, like, go out and, like, kind of deal with any of the enemies ahead of you.
And the music that plays when you're following the sushi lamp's kind of groovy as well, so that helps.
Oh yeah, it's super chill.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Whoa, who did this? Mr.
He gonna give it to you.
No, he's in a different game.
Kill this many.
Yeah.
Not be
Yeah, he...
next to them.
Yeah, we will... I'm trying to get my mind together on, like, what specific, like, DMX, Mr. X, like, bullshit that I was trying to say, but yeah, I kind of said all I needed to.
Yeah, at the end of the day, fuck waiting for you to get it on your own. X will deliver it to you.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, I now remember what I was gonna say. I'm sure, like, because in one of the examples of where I think the internet is actually a worthwhile place for especially silly things, I get a kick sometimes out of these super, like, one-note gimmicky kind of websites that don't have a whole lot of purpose except the one thing they advertise. And one of those is the website is DMX in jail. Because that happens a lot for him. But, obviously we made both the joke about DMX and Mr. X in RE2, which got a whole lot of crossover there. What I feel most people may not have realized back then is that the website had updated on the release of RE2 Remake that that DMX had gotten out of jail. He got out on January 25th, the same day RE2 Remake came out.
That... Wow. I if I didn't know better, I'd swear that was deliberately timed.
Any suggestions?
And I checked it, like, I want to say a year later, and the front page of the website said he was still free since January 25th.
Shoot the red spots.
So it wasn't a prank or anything. It was like, nope, he totally got out and decided to try and fuck up Leon's day.
Well, I mean, it's Leon's fault for shooting off his nice hat. We all did it, don't even lie. And instantly regretted it.
I'll admit, I actually did not shoot his hat off. I am not lying. I did point the rocket launcher at him, though, and got a kick out of him just going, nope.
Yeah, nah, this isn't happening. Still haven't played RE3 yet, but...
Me neither, but hope anyone else out there is enjoying it, because it sure sounds like the RE3 to RE2 in ways you'd expect.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got Persona 5R as a belated Christmas present from my girlfriend, so that and Final Fantasy VII Remake have just been eating up all my time. Oh, and Doom Eternal.
Oh yeah,
Like, it's
as
like,
far as I'm concerned, nothing else matters, only Doom.
yeah, it's like now that The Last of Us 2's been delayed indefinitely, there's literally nothing else coming out for the rest of the year.
Yep, which means Doom Eternal can sweep away Game of the Year awards, finally, as it deserves.
As is right.
Yep.
We can just end the video now, though. Like, we've said all that's worth saying.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm just gonna splice in now. No, I was gonna.
BFG edition. BFG division intensifies.
No, I was thinking more just like slowly turning this LP into like me doing my super shotgun like only challenge run of Doom Eternal, because I've been trying to do that for like the past couple weeks. Because it is possible for most of it. That game encourages the hell out of you to use all of your tools, but it's extra fun to try and stick to only a select few and maximize.
See, the one thing I don't like about it is that the game's so stingy with the ammo caps. Because
you get used to it.
It's just 24 shotgun shells is pathetic. And I know it's because once you unlock the full upgrades for the super shotgun, there was literally no reason to use anything else, but you know, you can't even use the regular shotgun with any kind of regularity, and it just annoys the hell out of me.
Crazy idea, G.
Sticky grenades.
Yeah.
And the full auto's mastery gives you back shell ammo.
I've not used that too much. I just usually use the sticky. And, like, what else do you need? That, super shotgun, done.
Also, ballista, rocket launcher.
I don't use the ballista that much, to be honest. I prefer the plasma.
Yeah, I mean, like, admittedly, I'm very much, like, I'm not kidding when, like, I'm talking, like, so much praise about, like, about Doom Eternal and that nothing matters, because that's literally been the only game I've been playing since it came out, like, literally every day, so I've kind of been crazy into it so much. Like, it is like I'm gonna say the perfect marriage between first-person shooters and like character action games like Devil May Cry and Ninja Gaiden. Like, I feel that's the thing that, especially for people that might be like more purely into first-person shooters, is why some of its particular decisions are throwing people off.
Yeah. So welcome to our Doom Eternal LP, featuring Shadows of the Damned bonus content.
Yep, exactly. This chandelier section's not too bad.
It exists. You wiggle a chandelier, pick up some bonus gems.
Yeah.
The end.
There's like a red gem like reward, like I think multiple based on how many you of like these of like the white gems that you get while ascending. And this was definitely the point where, when I realized I had missed some gems, I did not want to replay the entire level just to, like, do the whole completionist, like, get every red gem. I decided from here on, it's like, yeah, this is gonna be the part where any red gems I pick up is just gonna be, like, as they come along. I'm not gonna go to the crazy lengths necessary to ensure I get every single one.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a completionist by any stretch of the imagination, but you know, I knew for a fact early on that I'd missed out on a couple of red gems, and I was like, that means what? I'm not going to fully upgrade my melee capacity? Oh no, what a personal disaster.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Exactly. I mean, for fuck's sake, there's not even a new game plus for this.
Yeah, that I always thought that, you know, maybe later on down the line they'd patch that in, but seems like kind of a wasted opportunity. Especially considering how relentlessly this is aping Resident Evil 4. Oh, good shot. But yeah, just really not much to say here, is there?
Yeah. So anyway, Doom Eternal.
Yeah. So one of my favorite things was just that everyone started doing mods putting Isabel from Animal Crossing in Doom because they are best friends, and that is my favorite thing of the whole Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
Like, everything surrounded it. I'm like, I am here for wholesome Doom Guy and Isabel content.
Yeah, it's like it's both great from like the meme context, but also both games coming out at the same time are really like the perfect companion pieces for each other. Like, if someone actually did get both, you get a super chill game that just lets you enjoy something resembling a life that isn't the current reality.
Well,
and then when you're like, okay, I want some action, time to get my ass brutally murdered in Doom Eternal. And when you've had enough of pain from that, it's like, okay, time to relax on my deserted island and invite my animal friends over.
Time for a relaxing evening on Spider Island.
Yeah.
I haven't played it. I don't really have much interest in Animal Crossing, but literally everyone I know is playing it. And
yeah, it's like, I have not played it since, I think the only one I actually played was the Wii game, City Folk, and that was back during the period where, like, those first 3 Animal Crossing games were, like, almost literally the exact same, but, like, before they started doing, like, the big changes as they were in the 3DS game and now New Horizons. So whenever I hear from people about what's going on in Animal Crossing, it's like so fascinating because I already have the context of what AC used to be.
Yeah.
And just kind of having my mind blown is like, what even is this game anymore?
Yeah, back when the villagers all looked like weird... Well, the human villagers all looked like weird gremlins.
Back when you were automatically forced into buying a house and paying off the debt because Tom Nook is an asshole.
Yeah.
He still is. I don't care if he's got 2 kids that need to feed.
Yeah, they're not actually his kids. They're 2 very small raccoons that are just indentured servants.
He just...
Because Tom Nook is a monster.
He just finds ways to get around it via, like, legally filing statuses and bullshit like that.
Yeah, he's more like Willy Wonka and their Oompa Loompas.
That's true, yeah. Because the Oompa Loompas are totally just slaves brought over from, like, another place, but because no one else knows about them, you can get away with it.
Yeah, they say that in the book. It's like, yeah, they're basically slaves I took from not Africa.
Really fucked up thing to put into like a book that's intended for children, but what do you know? Children's media gets away with a lot of dumb shit.
Yeah, even when I was like 8, I was like, no, I'm 8, but that's not right.
Yeah. It's like just the media that gets shown to you as being like kid appropriate is either stuff that unintentionally delves into subject matters that are deep down fucked up like the Oompa Loompas, or you just get the writer's thinly veiled fetish, and like that just ruins you for the rest of your life growing up.
Also, Johnson's wrong. That doesn't sound like a cat having non-consensual sex with harmonica. That sounds different.
Yeah, it sounds exactly like what George is, which is a dude with a harmonica stuck in his throat.
Yeah. Like, come on, Johnson, get with the program.
I mean, at least, like, to Johnson's credit, even though I think it doesn't, like, work for him, like, in that particular line he said, Johnson at least refrains from overly swearing.
Yeah, well...
he tries to be a good boy.
Yeah. And then there's that one bit.
Oh yeah, that one bit. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
However many months it takes to fucking finish this.
Best bit of the game right there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, now this dude's Baphomet.
Might I suggest not just stand here?
At least a somewhat like more interesting design than man covered in uncountable amount of gore.
Yeah, dude with chunks versus goat demon and a horse.
Yeah,
it's not difficult to be more interesting.
With still the harmonica, though not as like pronounced compared to before. So here we are in a arena that I feel is taken explicitly from God Hand, because there absolutely was that like giant crane boss with like this exact layout.
See, I was thinking Ninja Gaiden myself, because there's a couple of bits early on in the original reboot where you're fighting a dude on a horse.
Oh yeah, Masakado. Yeah. I was. For whatever reason, when you said Ninja Gaiden, I was trying to think which one had, like, this type of, like, aesthetic in Arena. But, yeah, I totally what you mean. You're about, like, the specific boss fight itself.
Yep.
Yeah, those horseback samurai were assholes.
Oh, yeah. Like, that entire game was just one long asshole parade.
And you come away loving it.
Well, it's not my favorite, but I wouldn't say I had a bad time playing it.
Yeah. I mean, me saying that I came away loving it and all the praise I have should be obvious, because...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're a masochist.
And there may or may not be 2 LPs of those first 2 games and their inferior updates for PS3 on the LP archive, you know? Just in case.
Subtle plug. I actually...
Nothing subtle about what we say or what this game has to show us.
I actually won a copy of the 3rd one from the official Koei Tecmo Twitter.
Oh,
and
you
I was like,
fucking soul.
Well, you see, I'd really enjoyed the second one, mainly because of the what do you call it? What was the hand and foot size that you got?
Oh yeah, the Falcon's talons.
Yeah, mainly because of those. Those were fantastic. So
Yeah,
it's like,
those
okay,
cults are
you know, it's like the last couple of games were a lot of fun. Let's see what this is. Oh no, what have you done?
Yeah.
So that got completed and traded in very quickly.
Yeah, we were talking about a shit game, and we got our segue into the dumb gimmick/gag of this fight. George's horse likes to shit darkness. Literally.
See, I've heard the phrase, "I'm so edgy, I shit darkness." Never quite as literal.
Nah, but I guess that's what EA thought.
Yeah. Well, the EA got it EA.
Yeah. Because, I love No More Heroes. We all know one of its biggest gags is the way in which you recharge Travis's beam katana. And
or dropping an ice save.
yeah, it's like, those are always, like, the kind of two, they always had, like, the appropriate context for them. But, like, at least you didn't see Travis literally defecating. There was at least, there was the toilet paper, like, overlay that was cleverly done there.
I was always kind of disappointed that we never got to... you got to pick every item of clothing except for his boxers. And I'm kind of surprised that they didn't do that as well.
Yeah.
Or the toilet paper.
But I guess kind of like the overall point of what I'm getting at is that why we kind of pinned this on EA is because I'm pretty sure they specifically saw those particular No More Heroes gags and thought that was all that needed to be done.
Yeah, it's copying without understanding, which is a pet hate of mine, because it happens so often in media.
Yeah, it was so especially frustrating seeing that done with Suda stuff in general, following that first game.
And it's like, yes, you've done a good one-to-one copy, but you didn't get the context or the reasons or anything, so why did you even bother, other than it's popular and people thought it was funny? Oh wait, that's all it needed to be done.
Yeah, all needs to be popular, even in a super, limited cult following mindset, because that's obviously what No More Heroes was. It got recognition, but it was never, gangbusters big or anything like that.
Oh yeah, no. I remember when. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we kind of ignored a lot of this final phase of the boss fight, and now they just decided to rub in it. Hey, you saw shit, remember? Now about piss.
And he's vomiting everywhere. So that's
and his guts exposed.
He's going for the triple.
Yeah, it's, this is funny, right? This is funny, as John Riccatello nervously laughs in front of the people, as this is being proposed.
Sorry, you say John Riccatello, but I hear Tom Green. This is Freddy Got Fingered, the video game. Now, there's a reference for you.
Okay, fuck, this is actually over. Let's just pick up the blue gem, get our new weapon upgrade, get the fuck out of here. Move on to the manga.
Now here's a pretty prize. I smell an upgrade. Plug it in, G.
A couple more of these and 50 Cent's going to be after him.
We've gone from the mono cushioner to the skull cushioner. This time, it can actually hold 4 shots before needing to reload.
So it's slightly less worthless.
I mean, it still packs a fucking punch, but, you don't have to worry about the long reload either way. But, I mean, to be fair, even with, a really good shotgun, I still kind of want a good, sort of pump action reload at all times.
Yeah, they really dropped the ball with many aspects of this. I think the weapons is arguably the most unforgivable.
Yeah, I mean, you only have 3 guns to work with. But enough about that and those guns. We gotta check back in with Kaido to something a lot more interesting and less juvenile. Returning to Kuriabi Dance with Chapter 4, Tanaka the First. So yeah, last we left off in this story, we met up with Tanaka, a very interesting fellow, different style, unnervingly so, compared to our pretty boy Kaido, the Undertaker.
Yep, basically your every stereotype of the Japanese salaryman.
Mm-hmm. With a name that is even incredibly common. Like, if this were somehow like an American-made story with like the same concept, like, you know, the Netflix adaptation, if you will, he'd probably just be called John.
Yeah, John Jones, the salaryman.
Yeah. Yep.
I was gonna say Smith for a second, but that's a different game.
Oh yeah, but yeah, and during the ride over, Challia still keeps pestering Kaido to play Uno with him because that's all he can think about when it comes to road trip games. And then, in another Japanese trope, I guess, for the kind of character he is, tries his best to put on a good smile, but it just makes the atmosphere that much more creepy.
Yeah, if Glass was happy, is the only way. If Glass could smile.
Yeah, it also really does not help the fact that Kaido's right eye now is of a different color, so it just looks even weirder.
He looks cross-eyed.
It really does, yeah.
It's like if you cover up one eye, it looks fine, like either one, but together it's like, what? No, stop that.
No.
Think about what you've done.
Yep. So they decide to take a pit stop, get some food to eat at a ramen place at the 5th Tanaka restaurant. You might see there's like the start of a potential theme here. We've got Tanaka the First. We got a Tanaka restaurant.
So he wants to become king of the Tanakas.
Yep. The ramen looks good. I assume it tastes good. I'm not that big on mushrooms, but I mean, hey, like the chicken, the green onions, I'd be down for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Following that, get some coffee, a brief bit of bonding over the particular brand of coffee that they like.
Can't say I've ever bonded over brands.
I think you'd be more likely to bond over an anti-brand, which would be like saying, "Hey, fuck Starbucks."
Yeah, like saying, "Hey, I really like independent coffee shops because I'm a douchebag that talks like that to people." Yeah, I can totally understand that. Otherwise, nah, not something I really feel.
Yeah, but despite all like the pleasantries between them, things take a very dark turn suddenly. Tanaka's had too much of his current life.
Yeah, shit gets wacky, is one way of putting it, I suppose.
This entire spilling of Tanaka's current emotions and mental state just gave me huge Killer 7 side character vibes. It is because one of the things that just makes Killer 7 so compelling, even if you're not following all with the plot, is that so many of the characters you come across all feel like that they are on the verge of a mental breakdown.
Oh yeah.
Or in the process of one, usually resulting in taking some incredibly drastic measure. And in this case, Tanaka is a guy who came to the kingdom specifically for a good life and fulfillment in everyday activities, but has clearly come down with a case of getting too much of a good thing ends up being bad for you, as it turns out.
Yeah, it kind of weird tangent, but it reminds me of Freddie Prinze Jr.'s father. Committed suicide and was basically left a note saying, well, I've had a good run. See ya. Kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah, it's just insane, like, as he proceeds to then pull out a gun, knowing full well that Kaido's an Undertaker, and is basically like, hey, I'm done, I can't do this anymore, take care of my funeral for me, please.
And
then...
Yeah.
Yeah, graphic shot of a bullet straight through the fucking head.
And I remember the first time I read this, in the bottom left of these pages, like, huh? What? I was like, is that his corpse talking?
Yeah, I think that's clearly supposed to be Kaido and Challia, but it's just a weird, like, word bubble placement.
Yeah, because it wouldn't be out of place in a manga like this, to be fair.
Yeah. Still, regardless, this is, I think, like, the second pure Suda moment that we hit. The first was obviously Kaido's, like, journey to hitting 300 and his near-death experience. This was definitely the second, and just kind of giving you a glimpse of just like, the real raw shit that's like, underneath what this kingdom is presenting.
Yeah, with a lot of Suda's work, when it starts getting really surreal, I might have mentioned it before, it's been a while, but you get the feeling that there are, like, underlying rules that allow everything to make sense, but everyone's keeping it a secret from you, personally.
Yeah, and it makes sense here, because, you know, Kaido is a visitor in this case. He's not... He doesn't know anything about what's going on and just how deep, like, this shit goes.
But he deals with it like a trooper.
Yep, he drives a stake through the top of his hand as part of his little funeral ritual, which, I mean, okay, as long as you're not doing it too often for every single one.
Yeah, not one that I'm particularly familiar with, but, well, if it works for him, I guess.
Yep, gets a small coffin ready, which, you know, makes you wonder where he got that, because he obviously is not using the one specifically for the job he was hired for.
Yeah, at first when I was reading this, I was like, oh, so is he just using that one? But apparently he has flat pack spares?
Yeah, that are, like, easy to construct. He prepares, like some of the food that they had earlier, just kind of in memory. You know, the chicken ramen and the hex coffee. Yeah. It definitely this middle part of the chapter definitely dives a little bit more into kind of showing what does go through Kaido's head, like, and like, especially, like, emotionally, when he does do this type of thing for a living.
Yeah, and, you know, like, the stuff that he thinks about is, you know, he thinks about him enjoying food, enjoying coffee, so even though it was, like, massively surreal what's just happened, he thinks about the human aspects of it rather than, wow, that guy was a fucking lunatic.
Yeah, and especially for only knowing him for what I could only assume was, like, a couple hours at most.
Yeah.
Yep, and, like, last little detail from the funeral, kind of, you know, highlighting the fact of like, how painful suicide really is for everyone. Just, like, kind of just highlighting that, hey, people that kill themselves are basically cursed with, like, just a face of pain and anguish forever.
Yeah, well, it's one of the weird things that most cultures hold it as, like, one of the ultimate taboos. So, you know, makes sense to reference it here.
Yeah, it's like, it is literally, like, just the act of throwing away your entire worth, even if someone else may possibly still see some in you for that.
Yep.
And that is almost, like, both insulting for not just them, but you as well. But then the funeral ends, and we meet Tanaka. No, not the one we just buried. Another Tanaka.
We have spares.
Yes, a very different looking Tanaka.
Yeah,
obviously.
don't like this Tanaka. He looks too smug.
Yeah, and now you might be wondering, especially with the panels still showing it, we buried Tanaka in front of the 5th Tanaka restaurant, and we are now greeted by another Tanaka to help us continue with our escort. Because, as it turns out, within the Kurogane Kingdom, there's a ward that is just full of Tanakas.
What? Just imagine, like, you're a Tanaka? I'm a Tanaka too. What are the odds?
Yeah. And apparently everyone at the Tanaka Town Hall is gathering around to watch someone, like, literally jump and commit suicide as well. Because apparently the Tanaka we buried, his problem is not his only problem.
It's a goddamn epidemic.
Yeah, it's just so fucked. Like that's really all I can really say.
Yeah, I keep thinking, okay, so what does this represent? Because it's Suda and, you know, it means something. But I'm like, I have no idea other than Challia saying, hey, doesn't this kingdom seem kind of fucked up to you? Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's like you're either looking at this as like the end result of like capitalistic society and people putting up with it until they can't take anymore, or this some commentary on how the idea of heaven or paradise in general is a complete joke.
Yeah, I think really the point is round here you're either the one jumping or the one watching.
Yeah, and like just as all like this info is brought to bear, while the current Tanaka like explains it all with that same smug face, which just really rubs in like just kind of the horribleness of like this particular section of the kingdom, at least. That Kaido's final thoughts on it is like a perfect summary. Death is treated lightly.
Yeah, it just seems like no one cares about anything.
Yeah, it's like they're already in their paradise on Earth. Like nothing else matters. They don't need to like do the same boring menial work. They got their money. They got their good place to live. What could go wrong?
Yeah, fuck you, got mine.
Something does go wrong? Oh, I guess I'll end myself. I'm already in the perfect place anyway.
Yeah, well, the canteen was out of creamer for my coffee today. Might as well just decapitate myself, I guess.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And haven't we all thought that? Oh, no, wait. No, we haven't. Well, so.
Yeah, no
Hopefully.
one has.
Hopefully.
And there's already enough, like, cases, like, around the world of people all just, like, dealing with a lot worse shit and still having to pull through anyway.
Yeah, gonna say trigger warning.
Yeah, this is... Yeah, this already... Like, it makes so much more sense as you keep going through this why Suda made his main character for this manga an Undertaker. Why he's pulling specifically from that part of his life where he was working at a funeral home and, like, doing these sort of things. Because, like, death is a heavy subject. Like, when you get past a lot of the sort of entertainment just kind of shows it as, especially in fictional stuff that's not meant to be looked at in depth, that when you do put like the actual ramifications of such things, no matter the context, under like a more microscopic lens, it really does, it's hard to avoid how heavy and serious the subject actually is.
Yeah, we do make light of it, but sometimes it is important to have this shit, you know, to be reminded that, no, wait, this is actually really important and really dark.
Yeah.
So,
and what better way to do it than to, like, as this story is shown, create, like, a literal kingdom, heaven on earth, early retirement home, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and just juxtapose, like, the whole, like, the good things it's trying to advertise with how clearly not feasible it is. If people that are sharing the exact same name in their daily lives are offing themselves over the most trivial of things that could easily be recovered from, then, like, yeah, just what the fuck?
What does that say for the rest of us who are dealing with a hell of a lot heavier stuff and, you know, not doing that when you get down to it?
Hopefully when people look back on this LP and are rewatching it years and years in the future, hopefully they'll get, and hopefully they'll also have remembered what the full context was for where we are currently and when this was recorded. Man, maybe doing this LP at the like during this year like had more worth to it than I originally thought it was.
Yeah, so this LP suddenly became an epoch. I mean, I'm not complaining, but
Yeah. Well, just along for the ride.
or maybe we're just a couple of chuckle fucks making jokes over a horror game. Who knows?
Maybe. I mean, that's why we have Shadows of the Damned, to just, like, not talk over it for 75% of the time.